So I worked as a social media manager for an NGO, and it was such a pain because my country, Switzerland, is divided in 3 language areas. Our team was based in the Swiss-German part of Switzerland, and we were all Swiss-German speaking. And since we were such a small organization, we could not handle the overhead for communication in all 3 languages, like many of the others do, especially big organizations and commercial ones. It's very common here to run your business in all 3 or at least 2 national languages, like one in German and at least another one for French. And we only have one Italian-speaking canton. Canton is the equivalent of a state in the US. So, unfortunately, this is often neglected. Well, anyway, we even only worked in German/Swiss German. For you guys who don't know that, Swiss German is basically a German dialect, and it's actually our real mother tongue. But our official language is German, not Swiss German. The really absurd thing is our mother tongue thereby is not even the language we officially use. And due to only talking in German at school and taught very often by Swiss teachers, we are usually very limited in expressing ourselves in German, like compared to the German. Like most Swiss people can't speak German without a Swiss accent. Also, it happens that we use Helvetisms, which describes words that are only used in Switzerland and are not understood by Germans, which makes us somewhat insecure when talking to people from Germany, because we might happen to use an expression they don't get. In fact, Swiss people have a language complex, and at the same time it's very much a taboo to talk about it here. If I could, I would totally make either Swiss German our official language instead of German, or ditch Swiss German and make the whole of Switzerland speak German. So we at least learn to express ourselves in the same language as we write. Anyway, so we are only 8 million people, and due to our organization only communicating in German, we only reached the 66% Swiss German natives, which makes around 5 million. Then count away children and you are left with a very small hypothetical reach. We also couldn't expect German or Austrian people to support us, since they obviously would rather support their own national NGOs. So I kept myself updated in social media marketing by watching the newest vlogs and reading the newest blogs about social media every week. And it was so frustrating because many of the strategies I learned about just wouldn't work in Switzerland. Not only did I face a much smaller reach, but also Swiss people are much more hesitant when it comes to commenting on posts. Like, one of the most suggested tips was ask your audience a question. Imagine if nobody comments on your question. I mean, there are certain Swiss pages that get many interactions, but people don't like to comment as the first because they are often afraid they would be like the only ones having commented, and that's too much attention for the average Swiss. That's why I sometimes commented on my posts just with my private account, and then all of a sudden at least a few people joined in. Another tip was the gap game. Like, you write a sentence and leave away a word so people could fill the gap with whatever their answer would be. For example, you write, if I could change one thing in the world, it would be, and then gap. And they would comment their answer. So yeah, I don't need to tell you how that went. Also, it did not really work with polls and contests, and I even struggled with giveaways. Also, English posts invite so many people globally to comment. Like, not only English native, but people actually dare to comment in English even if they're not native. I hardly see that in German posts. But yeah, I don't only want to complain about it. In fact, for Swiss circumstances, we were actually very successful, and today that NGO is even more powerful on social media. But I'm just saying, back then we really struggled, and I kept thinking things would be so different if we could actually target an English-speaking audience and carry our cause to several hundreds of million people instead of just 5. Because the people actually supporting us would still be a very small percentage of those. Oh yeah, another thing was NGOs often use celebrities for advocating for their cause, and Switzerland just hardly has celebrities who actually have that kind of influence or reputation to be of any relevance for people here. So we even have a word for the kind of celebrities we have lots of, which are like third-class celebrities, and the word is Cervella prominens, which basically means sausage celebrity, since Cervella is a special kind of sausage. It has gotten better though, since Instagram influencers actually have become the real celebrities even here in Switzerland. And now that NGO has the support of some of them. But still, I don't think it's comparable with a celebrity from the States. Like, even we would sometimes quote US celebrities to make our point because of the lack of celebrities in our own country. I think the only real celebrity we have is Roger Federer, the tennis player, and we never got him to speak up for our cause. Well, anyway, it's been a few years now, and I've made my experiences, and organic reach on Facebook has dropped anyway. And Instagram is image driven, so it doesn't really matter so much anymore. But yeah, I really think it would have been so cool to have that job in an environment with that size of an audience. I think here it clearly shows that sometimes languages are just obstacles that artificially keep the world smaller than necessary and can slow down social change.